What would you do if you discovered your life was a lie? But instead of breaking, you decided to rewrite the story. My name is Eleanor, and this is how I turned betrayal into a masterpiece, all within the glittering walls of a five-star restaurant. It began with a whisper, a fleeting glance at my husband's phone, and a truth that shattered the world I thought I knew. But rather than crumble, I chose to orchestrate a night no one would forget, a night where every detail, every glance, every word was part of my design. For 12 years, I had been the devoted wife to Daniel, a charming real estate tycoon whose smile could light up a room and whose ambition filled our lives with luxury. We had a daughter, Lily, whose laughter was my anchor, and a home that gleamed with the trappings of success. But beneath the polished surface, I sensed a shift. Daniel's late nights grew later, his excuses thinner, his affection colder. I ignored it at first, chalking it up to stress, to the demands of his empire. Then came the message that changed everything. A single text, glowing on his phone screen in the dead of night, from a woman named Vanessa. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow, love. Same place, 8 p.m. My heart didn't break, it hardened. I didn't confront him. I didn't scream or cry. Instead, I watched. I learned. Vanessa was a young interior designer, vibrant and ambitious, working on one of Daniel's high-profile projects. Their affair had been blooming for months, hidden in stolen moments at upscale hotels and discreet corners of the city. I could have ended it there, exposed them, and walked away. But that felt too small, too fleeting. I wanted something grander, a reckoning that would leave them both reeling, not just from guilt, but from the realization that I was the one pulling the strings. I began a plan. The setting had to be perfect, a stage worthy of the drama I envisioned. I chose La Lumiere, the city's most exclusive restaurant, a place where the elite dined under crystal chandeliers and whispered secrets over plates of caviar. I knew Daniel frequented it for business dinners, and I suspected it was where he and Vanessa met most often. I called the manager, a discreet man named Pierre, and reserved the private dining room for a special evening. A celebration, I told him, my voice steady, for my husband and a few close associates. Pierre, ever professional, asked no questions. The plan was intricate but elegant. I sent Daniel an email from an anonymous account, posing as a potential investor named Mr. Caldwell. The message was enticing, a multi-million-dollar deal, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be discussed over dinner at La Lumiere. Daniel, ever the opportunist, took the bait. I then contacted Vanessa, using a burner phone, pretending to be a client desperate for a last-minute consultation. I asked her to meet me at La Lumiere at the same time, promising a lucrative contract. Both invitations were carefully timed, their paths destined to collide. The night arrived, and I dressed with precision, a sleek red gown that hugged my curves, my hair swept into an elegant updo. I arrived early, slipping into the private dining room to ensure every detail was in place. The table was set for 3, with a bottle of Chateau Margaux breathing in the center. I had instructed Pierre to guide Daniel and Vanessa to this room separately, under the guise of their respective meetings. The stage was set, and I felt a thrill, not of fear, but of power. Daniel arrived first, his tailored suit impeccable, his eyes scanning the room with a mix of curiosity and impatience. He assumed he was meeting the elusive Mr. Caldwell. Moments later, Vanessa entered, her auburn hair cascading over an emerald green dress, her expression shifting from confusion to shock as she saw Daniel. The air crackled with tension as their eyes locked, each realizing they'd been lured into the same trap. Before either could speak, I stepped forward from the shadows of the room, my smile calm but razor-sharp. "Eleanor." Daniel's voice was a mix of disbelief, and dread. Vanessa froze, her hand clutching her purse as if it could shield her from what was coming. "Sit," I said, my tone soft but unyielding. They obeyed, their faces pale, their secrets exposed under the soft glow of the chandelier. I took my place at the head of the table, pouring wine with a steady hand. "I thought it was time we all had dinner together," I said, my voice laced with a warmth that belied the storm brewing inside me. "After all, we're practically family now, aren't we?" The twist came not from their reaction, though. Their stammering excuses were predictable, but from an unexpected guest. The door opened, and in walked Lily, our 11-year-old daughter, her eyes wide with a mix of confusion and hurt. I hadn't planned for her to be there. She was supposed to be at a sleepover, but her friend's mother had canceled at the last minute, and Lily, curious about her father's important dinner, had begged Pierre to let her surprise him. The sight of her changed everything. Daniel's face crumpled, and Vanessa's bravado dissolved into shame. I felt a pang of guilt, but also a strange clarity. This wasn't just about my pine, it was about the family we'd built and the future I wanted for Lily. "Mommy, why is she here?" Lily asked, pointing at Vanessa, her voice trembling. I knelt beside her, my heart aching but resolute. "She's someone who made a mistake," I said gently. "But we're going to talk about it, okay?" I looked at Daniel, whose eyes were now brimming with tears, and Vanessa, who couldn't meet Lily's gaze. The dinner unfolded like a slow unraveling. I didn't scream or accuse. Instead, I spoke of love, of trust, of the life we'd built together. I told Daniel how I'd known about Vanessa for months, how I'd watched their affair unfold while planning this very moment. I described the pain of betrayal, but also the strength I'd found in choosing not to be a victim. I wanted them to see Minute as the scorned wife, but as the architect of their reckoning. Vanessa tried to apologize, her words stumbling, but I stopped her. "This isn't about you're sorry," I said. "It's about what happens next." I turned to Daniel. "You have a choice. You can fight for our family, or you can walk away. But know this, I'm not the one who needs saving here." Lily's presence amplified every word, her innocent eyes a mirror reflecting the cost of their actions. By the end of the night, Daniel was a shadow of himself, his charm replaced by raw vulnerability. He begged for forgiveness, promising to end things with Vanessa, to rebuild what we had. Vanessa left in tears, her confidence shattered, her role in this drama reduced to a cautionary tale. I didn't know if Daniel's promises were genuine, but I knew one thing. I was no longer defined by his choices. As we left La Lumiere, Lily's hand in mine, I felt lighter than I had in months. The restaurant's golden glow faded behind us, but the night felt alive with possibility. I had orchestrated it all not out of vengeance, but out of a desire to reclaim my story. Betrayal had been my catalyst, but it was my strength that wrote the ending. And as Lily squeezed my hand, I knew that whatever came next, we would face it together,